Speaking of the Fediverse, I think this was what I was supposed to talk after the Kiwi Farms TV thing, but um, Post, who, God, this is another throwback. A long time ago, when we were setting up the Fediverse, and I was encouraging people to use it before Drop Kiwi Farms took it offline. Post and Graf are like these recurring characters. If you don't know, Graf is like this really weird guy. He's like a Destiny tier short, and he's also like an alcoholic. And he's one of those people that has like an Andrew Torba savior complex, where he's like, I am the harbinger of the freedom of speech, and I am the most freedom of speech man in the whole world. And I'm not going to cooperate with anyone in making the change that I want to see, because I alone am the savior, and I am going to do all the important things myself, and people will respect me alone for this. Like that's what Andrew Torba does, where it's just like, he is freedom of speech man, and he is the light that guides the way, and everyone else is just a pretender. So he's very difficult to get along with, is my point. In particular, he got in a scrap with me at some point. I think this is one of the first times we got into an argument, because I use Proton and I like Proton, and I really respect what they do. And he said, everybody, don't use Proton. Only trust me. I alone am your savior and your privacy expert. I am the most goodest of freedom of speech and personal privacy. And his reasons for saying don't trust Proton was that a neo-fascist in France had been doxxed through a French subpoena against Proton. Now, what Proton was able to disclose to the French was not any of his emails. His emails were encrypted, as they say they do. But he had been signing in without a VPN. And in fact, the way that Swiss law works is that email services have to retain IP addresses for a fixed amount of time. VPNs do not. And Proton offers both the VPN and an email service. So if you just use the Proton VPN that comes bundled with the premium Proton email that you can pay with Bitcoin, you can use the VPN to log into the email and then have no IP logs that are meaningful. He did not do this. He logged straight into his email without a VPN. And when the French petitioned the Swiss courts for a Swiss court order, they gave up the IP logs for the email service, which included a real IP address for this French nationalist, which resulted in him being arrested for hate speech. So Graf comes out swinging and says, don't trust Proton. And all I'm thinking is, this demonstrates that Proton is extremely upfront about what they do and do not keep, and is a good reason to trust them. And when I told him that, I said, Graf, what would you do if you got subpoenaed? Like, you can't not answer a subpoena. Are you going to fight subpoenas? Or are you just going to ignore it? What do you think you're going to do? And he had no answer for this. So many years later, we get to figure out what Graf is going to do when he gets a subpoena. He says, hello, friends. I am posting this unredacted in the interest of transparency with Post and its users. This morning, I received a call from the lawyer that established our LLC in Wyoming, informing me that we have received a subpoena. So he's Canadian, but his LLC is incorporated in Wyoming. This subpoena was filed on behalf of the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition, Immigrant Development Center, and Doe against members they suspect are involved with the Patriot Front. They have given me 6 days to comply. It is a civil case in federal court in North Dakota. They are requesting user data we don't have. So he says he doesn't have it, even though his whole thing is that he doesn't keep IP logs, but then repeatedly he's used IP logs to like dox Ethan Ralph and shit, basically. Due to data retention policies and public data available to literally anybody. It looks like a phishing attempt against users involved in the suit, and I have spent the morning on call with 30 lawyers in Colorado, Wyoming, and North Dakota to find someone to help me object to this. No help as of yet. Will definitely be costly. If any of you can help us with legal costs, please do at give.post.org. So, I'm not a lawyer, but I am, because I am a free speech man and my torch lights the way. I get subpoenas a lot. In fact, I usually get federal grand jury subpoenas a lot more than I get civil subpoenas. Just a nature of my business, I guess. I had a conversation with Hardin about this, and I asked, is it normal to receive more federal grand jury indictment subpoenas than it is to get like civil subpoenas? And he's like, no, it's not. it's really not. In fact, if a regular business gets a grand jury subpoena, they usually shit themselves. So it's like, okay, I occupy a different world than a lot of people, I suspect. So if you don't have any information, this is why Graf is like such a fucking weirdo, and it's like it's impossible to support him in any way. You received a subpoena for information you don't have, thereby which responding to the subpoena saying, I under oath say I have none of this fucking information is a valid response, and it costs $0 to do that. So if he has none of that information, why the fuck would he not just comply and say, I don't have it? That's all he has to do if he doesn't have it, truthfully. So I talked to Hardin about this. Very incidentally, Hardin is an attorney licensed directly as a lawyer in North Dakota. It has an interesting story to this. When he was a new attorney, there was a bunch of fracking going up in North Dakota that was being challenged in the courts. So a lot of lawyers were getting licensed in North Dakota specifically so they could represent petroleum companies against like Indians and shit. So he ended up getting on the bar in North Dakota directly. So he is fully able to represent Graf in North Dakota. And I messaged him and I even said, like, look, if you want to reach out to Hardin, we might be able to do something in as USIPs, because Hardin's the secretary for USIPs, and it's possible that we might be able to give him legal assistance as a part of the foundation, as the society. And Hardin hasn't received a call, and I haven't received a reply. So this is what I think is happening, is that Graf hates us so much that I'm offering to deploy my attorney. Wait, hold up. No, I'm wrong. He actually did reply. Okay, I can't roast him as much as I wanted to. I think he might reach out to Hardin. In which case, me and Hardin discussed this. He posted the subpoena live on the site, and we looked over it, and we agree that the solution to this is a little bit straightforward. You know, if everything is above board as he says it is, it should be really straightforward. So I referred him to Hardin, and I offer my support if he wants to reach out to Hardin and employ the United States Internet Preservation Society in his defense. Well, we got some internet to preserve, chat. That's how it is. I'm not retracting shit. I've had issues with Graf, and I still do. And I have issues with a lot of people in the free speech sector. There are so many people who are approaching free speech, and they're doing it from this angle of like, it must be me, it must be my innovations and my technology and my brand and my site, my way. And it's like, look, the lefties, they don't got this fucking problem. They work on shit. They got that collectivism shit, okay? We got that individualistic shit where it's like, it has to be Gab AI and Gab.com, and I'm not going to Fediverse Gab unless the Fediverse does what I want it to, and then his way is like this other way, and it's just like there's zero collaboration whatsoever, very very little combining of resources. Everyone has this animosity, and it's fucking gay, and it's like, look, my torch shines the way. So I'm trying to say, I've got the best ideas. I've got the best resources. I've got the best providers. Okay, just listen to me. Just listen to me. I got this shit figured out. Okay, that gun pointed in my head for 13 years. I don't listen. If that gun stopped pointing at my head, I would feel lonely. I've given it a nickname. I've made friends for it. I have a birthday memorized for it. I have a birthday picked out for my gun pointed at my head. Okay, I got this shit, man. I got it all figured out. What's his name? Pete. All right, that's Gaff. I guess I can't. I decided very wisely. I decided to check to see if he had replied before saying he didn't reply and making fun of him a bit more, but. I do have my issues, okay? And in particular, I think that we had a big divide over Lolicon shit. I think Post has Lolicon on it. It's been so long, I can't remember, so don't quote me on that. But as I've said before, I have my big issues. I have my big issues with Lolicon, but my belief is that if we're going to do anything about Lolicon, it should be done through the Congress, and it should be done through the court system, and it should be done through the legal system, and it should not be done because private companies have an issue with it.
Thank you for watching this clip. This is the CACA. Remember to like and subscribe.